Does this slow down growth to the extent of standard topping? It is very possible that a micro topping will cause the same stunted growth as a regular topping. However, I don't think it will, since the wound is smaller and therefore should heal faster, but it all depends on what cultivar and what specific pheno you have as well. Hey, how do you maintain the right light cycle for all your different plants? So when I grow, all of my plants in each individual room will have the same light cycle. So if I'm growing 5 veg plants, they'll all have the same 18:6 light cycle, but when they switch over to flower, they'll have a 12-on-12. And if I'm doing a veg and a flowering at the same time, it's just that they're in 2 different rooms, therefore are able to get 2 different amounts of light, so I can have a residual harvest going. Do you pH the water for your seedlings? Generally, as soon as a plant sprouts, that's when you'll begin to pH your water. When you are actually germinating your seed, you don't need to worry about the pH as much, as long as it's not too basic and it's not too acidic. You should be good to go. But as soon as you see the sprout, it's time to pH your water. Make sure it's in the right range so your plant can get all of the nutrients from the soil. What about 50%? Lollipopping half your plant is better than not lollipopping at all. If you choose to do 50%, just know your genetics and know if you're going to get dense buds all the way down, because if not, I highly recommend doing 75% and possibly all the way to the tip with those bud sites, depending on how much your plant is going to depending on how much it's going to stretch, depending on how far down the density goes. It can be a little bit tricky dialing in your lollipopping, but as a general rule, yeah, you can do half to 2/3, and that will get you a long ways rather than not doing it and wasting a lot of potential. How long did this grow cycle take? So this question was asked on my Grow With Me series, and in the episode, I'm actually taking a close look at the lemon kush plant, which is a sativa dominant plant. Now, let's break down the grow cycle. Now, from seed to veg, like that seedling stage, that's about 3 weeks, all right? And those plants, I believe I was doing a 2-month veg cycle at the time. I might have stretched it to 3, so keep that in mind. But after that 2 to 3 month veg cycle, I then had that 12-week video with that Grow With Me girl, which lemon kush sativa, you know, not unlikely that it would have flowered for 12 weeks. So that took me 3 weeks plus 3 months plus 12 more weeks. So if you want to do the math, you can do the math on that. But that's approximately how long it took. And that's not even considering drying it, trimming it, and curing it. Because those things add on an extra 3 to 6 months, depending on how long you want to cure your bud for. So it takes a long time to grow cannabis. It's not like a walk in the park. It's not like I'm going to plant a seed and then have weed by Sunday. Cut that plant down in September and then have like really good weed by next September. Like, it's no joke when you're growing cannabis, right? If you want good quality product, you're going to have to take your time on it. So keep that in mind getting into it. What if the humidity in the jars isn't getting over 60%? Does that mean I don't need to burp as often? The burping part is to lower the humidity, right? Alright, so burping, just because this is a hot topic and something everyone needs to know, I'm going to put a link to my burping video down in the description below. You get to go watch it and learn how to properly burp your jars and when to stop. So I'm going to leave that down below. But to answer the question, yes, if your jar is going under 60%, you don't need to burp. If it's at 59%, not going to grow mold. If it's at 52%, way too dry. If it's at 65%, it might not grow mold, but it's a bit too moist. That's normally when I open the jars up. And then I believe it starts growing mold at 68, 70%. I could be wrong, but you don't want to get it much higher than 65. You want to keep it in between the 58 to 62 range for very good, properly cured bud that's going to give you the best flavor, the best potency, and the best smokability. So I hope those tips help.
I use lemon juice to lower my pH. Do you think that could be detrimental to roots?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Considering lemon is acidic, I don't know what the pH of lemon juice is, but if you're using it to lower the pH of your water might not be good. But I'm not too sure about any of that because I don't use lemon juice to pH my water. I use pH up and pH down. But basically, if your water is in the right pH level, it doesn't really matter too much what you put in there, as long as you're not putting like battery acid or bleach or like alcohol or something that's like a cleanser or a harsh chemical. Lemon juice is very mild. It's also something that's in nature and gets into the soil all of the time. So it should not be a big deal because it's just getting it to the right pH. Therefore, it won't be too acidic and it won't be too basic. So you will be good as long as your water is in the right pH. All right, I hope that clears things up. Lemon juice, perfectly fine. I know a lot of people use it on their plants. So you're safe. You're good.
Have you ever watched to see how long it takes for trikes to change from clear to cloudy to amber?
So this question is very interesting because I've never specifically taken time out to watch a specific bud's trichome grow over time or mature over time. But what you're going to want to do is periodically watch your trichomes and look at them, especially if it's a cultivar you've never grown before and have never seen the finished product of and have no idea how long it's going to flower for. You're going to want to look at those trichomes periodically from about week 5 just to keep an eye on things and look at how they're growing. Obviously, you're not going to be thinking about harvest around week 5, but it is going to be a good idea to get a look at your trichomes and even take notes on how they are growing. I've looked at trichomes a lot. Normally it'll take about a week or two for them to mature, but at the same time, your plants are always growing more trichomes in the flower stage, packing on that bud production, multiplying them, and that's why some never mature, and that's why some get amber super early. So no, I've never taken the time out to look at specific trichomes and keep track of their progress, but I do periodically look at my plants. And if you guys want to see my plants, I've actually taken close-up shots. You can see those on my community tab going to my channel, and you can also see them on my Twitter and Instagram, which I will have links for down below if you want to check those out, and you will be able to follow along on the progress as well. But yeah, it takes a couple weeks, sometimes a couple days. It really depends on the cultivar, depends on the pheno, it depends on all that. So yes and no. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I want to say thank you guys so much for 1,300 subscribers. This past month has been insane, personally for me, for watch time, for subscribers gained, and just interaction in general. You guys have been great. If you guys want more of these videos where I just answer your gardening questions straight up, just in a row like this, leave them down below. I'm going to be collecting as many questions as I can. I figured this would be a great way to interact with you guys more directly rather than just answering your comments, because a lot of people have the same questions, and knocking out some of those frequently asked questions or interesting questions that newer people wouldn't have thought of, I feel like it would be a lot more constructive for the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new, I hope you hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. And also leave a like if you want to see more videos like this one. Long intro or long outro. I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much.